Tony, before we get started with the football stuff, have you ever placed a bet in your life?
No, I have not.
So, like Vegas, a casino,
No,
racetrack.
I'm so averse to losing money. If I lose $1 around the house, I'm looking for it for 2 weeks. So I just couldn't voluntarily lose money. No.
Have you ever been cognizant of the betting line when you coached? When
Oh,
somebody
yeah, absolutely. Matter of fact, maybe it's a good thing I don't bet, because the one time I told my team Saturday night, the first year in Indy, before we played, we were playing the Jets in the first round playoff game, and we were 4 or 5 point underdogs. And I said, if I bet, I would bet my house. I'd bet everything I have on us because we have a better team. And we lost 41-0. So I think it's a good thing I don't bet. But yeah, you always talk about that, and you look at that, and you say, what are these people thinking, and what the lines are? I commented on that last week when Denver was underdog at home, and you say, gosh, they played this team already once. They've got the number one defense. They're playing at home. Doesn't make sense to me that they're underdogs, but I don't know how they make these betting lines.
Who's got a better defense?
I think Denver is a little bit better overall, but Denver's going to have a tough time with this offense because Denver is built for what you should be built for in this day and age, rushing the passer, covering people down the field. But this is a running team. Carolina runs a lot of plays that I think are going to neutralize what Denver's defense does best. Carolina's got a great defense, but I've just seen them too often, giving up some leads, giving up some big plays. And what they've done well, Carolina's defense, is they've jumped on people early, put you behind the 8 ball, and then made you one-dimensional. So I think that's the key. Which team can play to their tempo, and which team doesn't get one-dimensional and have to catch up? Either one of these teams, I think, if they get behind and have to catch up, they're going to be in trouble.
If Cam Newton's your quarterback and he does his celebrating, what would your reaction be?
I don't like those celebrations myself, but I understand them. And so we had some guys that celebrated, and we had some guys who were kind of what I call new era players. And I always tried to talk to them about celebrating with the group, celebrating as a team, and kind of keeping the celebrations down to the end of the game. But I understand where Carolina is. Now, I saw Cam Newton play in college. My son's team at Oregon, they played them in the national championship game, and he is right. He hasn't changed. He has fun with the game. He enjoys it, and it's different. And we see these celebrations, and these guys go a long ways in creating them and making them unique. So I think it's just become part of the game. Even though I'm old school, I kind of go along with it now. I know where it's heading.
The whole topic about Cam Newton and the way he plays, that he says, hey, I'm an African-American quarterback and nobody's seen something like me before, and people are scared of that. Why is Cam polarizing here? And is race really an issue here, or is it sort of being forced into becoming an issue here for Super Bowl?
Yeah, I don't think it's race. I think it's style. And we've seen Cam Newton's style at other positions. We've seen Michael Irvin. We've seen defensive players.
Dion.
We've seen running backs and receivers. But I don't know that we've seen a quarterback like this. We've seen, especially the quarterbacks who've won and who've been MVPs. You see the cerebral, the Bart. I mean, we're seeing all this highlights of 50 years of the Super Bowl and Bart Starr and Len Dawson and Bradshaw and Montana. And that's what we're used to seeing. So now we've got a quarterback who's doing things that we've seen at other positions, but we kind of say, I don't know, that shouldn't be the leader. But he is the leader, and he's leading in a different way than we're used to. And I guess, to me, I take it back to basketball. And when Magic Johnson came in, and played with that flair, and he's throwing no-look passes, and he's laughing and having fun out there. It took people a little while to get used to that. But I remember Kareem after a year or two saying, you know what, he's even impacted me, and I'm having a little more fun out there. So it's just a different way than we're used to, and I do think it's more style.
It's interesting that you bring up Magic Johnson because we talked about Magic Johnson in our pre-show meeting 2 days ago where we saw a different style and a different size. So you had a point guard who was 6'9",
Yes.
who had fun, and it was contagious. It was showtime, and everybody bought into it with the Lakers. But with Carolina, for some reason, we don't let them have showtime, whereas with Magic, we embraced it. Maybe it took a little while, but after a while, you were thinking, God, you got to see the Lakers. Look how much fun they're having. It's showtime basketball there.
And it was fun. And now, I watch. I'm loving watching the Warriors, and I'm seeing Steph Curry, and they are playing enjoyable basketball. They're celebrating after baskets, and everybody says, "Oh, that is nice. It's fun, and that's the way basketball should be." Well, you and I are old enough to know it wasn't always seen that way.
Distractions during Super Bowl week. How do you prevent them?
You really just tell your players, look, there's going to be a lot going on. This is, no matter what people say, this is not a normal week. And so we've got to enjoy it, we've got to embrace it, but we've got to stay focused on the process at hand. And you guys are going to have time. I let our players have time, and we were fortunate we got the late starting time. So we started our day late. We let the guys stay out. I think we had a 1 a.m. curfew. So there's going to be things that are a little different, but don't let it take away from our focus, our preparation. When we do start our day and it's 1 p.m., and we start our meetings, and 4 p.m. we're practicing. Make sure you're on point for all of that, and you have a little fun and enjoy the process, but don't be the one that causes us a headache to get us off our focus.
What if Peyton came in at 1:15 a.m.?
Well, you trust that your guys aren't going to do that, and that was the speech. Hey, normally we have 11 o'clock. I'm going to give you 2 more hours, but don't walk the line. Don't jump over the line. I'm moving the line for you, so stay with me. And fortunately, our guys did that. If I'd have said, hey, curfew's at 11, now you may have some issues. Guys wanting to, hey, I was here and I had to be there till midnight. So I tried to go halfway and then let the guys stay with me, and fortunately they did.
You didn't answer my question.
It's a hypothetical that never would have happened. So.
Peyton, was there bed check for Peyton?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yep. But that was one I didn't have to worry about. Now, we had some other guys you could have mentioned, and I'm not going to bring up names, but what if this guy had been out to 1:15? That's a possibility, and we would have had to work through that. Would have probably been a heavy fine, but I wouldn't have kept him out of the game.
I'll see you in San Francisco.
All right. Sounds good, DP.
Thank you, buddy. And don't place any bets here, all right?
I am not betting because I would lose everything.
Thank you, Tony. Tony Dungy, Football Night in America.